Here in the manager seat, we never touch Wonderkids. We leave those to the other channels. But today, there's one player in my long-term off-stream save that was destroying all the clubs in the Premier League, all the clubs in the Champions League. And he's in a position where there aren't that many brilliant players. For this Wonderkid, we're going to develop in, put some traits in place, mentor in. We're going to show you how to create the perfect winger in Football Manager 23. This kid is nuts. And that Wonderkid starts off in Liverpool in Football Manager. We come into the squad. He will be in your youth team, but I've moved him up to the first team squad. It is Ben Doak. If you've not heard of him, he's a young Scottish winger, 16 years old, plays on the right-hand side. I know it says he's weak on his left foot, but if you see any footage of Ben Doak, he is very decent on his left foot. So he's going to start out pretty much as a winger out on that right-hand side. 4.5 star potential, 1.5 star current ability. If we go into the editor, which I've loaded simply just to show you where this kid is at. Potential ability of 180, current ability 104. He's got a lot of room to grow, and we're going to do that together up to the end of his career to see how it progresses. And I'm going to show you how we can develop this kid into, honestly, by far and away, the best winger in the game. Look at those stats, soak them in, and remember at the end of this video how good he develops. So starting off is the training side of things. We come into the development tab, and there's lots of things we can do and add in place, which I've already done for your convenience. Winger support, final third. Now, final third will improve his composure and his decisions. As a winger, he's already pacey, he's already good at dribbling, he's got great technique, and off the ball is okay along with work rate. Composure and decisions, he's going to be in the right area, so these two are going to lend itself to make sure he does the right thing with the ball at the right time, and he's composed enough to pull it off. Winger support will cover all these areas as he moves along in that position, because that's the one he's playing, and he'll develop lovely. Now, in terms of his player traits, he starts off with 2, at least in my save. Let me know in comments if that does differ for yours. He likes the ball into his feet, runs the ball often, and runs with ball down right with training currently on. As a winger, I want him to stick to the side. He's going to become the assist king of the Premier League. So that's what we're going to start with for his individual training. After that, we're going to come into training in general and go to mentoring. Now, what I've done here is overkill, like proper overkill. But if you do mentoring in general and you have 4, 5, 6 groups or whatever, that's fine. But for this one specific thing, I'll show you what I've done. So Ben Doak is the second one along, just underneath Mohamed Salah. And the 2 columns to look at is the estimated influence on the group and the estimated effect from the group. Now, it's nice to see that Ben Doak will get a significant effect from the players around him. Now, if you don't know, you can absorb player traits. You can even change the personality of a player. All those hidden attributes under the bonnet of Football Manager will be affected by this mentoring group. Comments down below. If you want us to do an in-depth video on mentoring, we can do that. We've touched upon it in the past, but we can certainly do an up-to-date one if needs be. I put Trent in there simply because they're going to be on the same wing. We've got a right back and a right winger, and the way I see it is if they're going to bond and become part of a hierarchical group, I like to see them in the same mentoring group. And of course, we got Hendo, James Milner, and Mo Salah, who are professional model citizens, and they're going to have a significant influence on Ben. So, for example, some of Mo Salah's traits, such as these 4 here, they may be adopted by Ben Doak as we go forward. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump forward in increments all the way to the end of his career to see how this kid develops and really how good he's going to become. And we're going to put him in this tactic. Now, he's nowhere near the best right attacking midfielder for Liverpool. There's about 4 or 5 in this team that could slot into that position. But for now, this is how we're going to roll, okay? So Núñez will be up top, who can score a goal. Salah's going to be the creative individual behind Diaz, who, fair play, I've never looked at this kid's profile, and he is class in Football Manager. And then Ben Doak on the other wing with these boys sat in behind. In terms of instructions for Ben, we're keeping it nice and simple. We're going to leave it as it is, but we're going to make sure that he crosses into the centre. I don't want to control him too much. I want to see how this develops to start with, and then we can tweak it as we go into it. In terms of the management of Liverpool, I'm leaving that all to the staff. Director of Football is doing transfers, contracts, and everything. My main role within the next couple of years is to make sure that Ben becomes the best version of himself. So let's jump to the end of Season 1 to see how he's done in his first season with Liverpool. And here we are, end of season 1. Ben Doak has got an injury. Great start. Here we go. He's gone up to 2 stars, which is good. He's changed age to 17, so he's definitely getting older. And some of his stats have gone up very nicely indeed. But bloody hell, the one thing that jumps out to me are the player traits. Okay, so we've only trained the one, which was runs with ball down the right, if you remember. Likes to beat offside trap has been added. Ball into feet was already on there, and run with ball off and was already on there. So cuts inside from right wing and beats offside trap. He's picked up. Now, I wonder, has he picked that up from Mo? He has, look. That mentoring group has given him 2 traits, technically 3 because we trained him on 1, in a season. That is massively overpowered if you wanted to add that into your training and development. So Ben, let's take a look at how tangibly he's actually gone. So from 104, he's gone up 14 attribute points, which is huge for one season. And what I've done, of course, in terms of the tactic, he is playing every game. And for this season, that is 33 that he's fit for, of course. If he's injured, we can't play him. 8 goals and 9 assists for the 7.02 is an incredible first season, to be fair. We can also send him on a leadership course, which I think we're going to do because that affects some of the mentals, in particular determination. Anything to develop this kid is what I want to do. Let's take a look at the league. Second, they finished in the Premier League. 2 points. Oh, there's a game left. I wonder if they're going to win it. Wouldn't it be cruel if I left it now without telling you? Let's find out together. Come on. Nah, absolutely bottled it. They drew the last game. It wouldn't have made a difference, to be fair. And one thing I will say as well, the reason I've got this editor on is because I am unsackable. Let me show you now. Do I go here? My profile. Become unsackable. Just in case we end up in 10th and this messes up, I want to make sure that I'm going nowhere. But moving back to Ben, we can see he's developing very nicely. The mentals in this kid are really good. And if you remember, we had final third being developed, composure and decisions. They're coming along very nicely indeed. The one thing I wouldn't mind doing is getting this pace up a little bit, but I'm going to leave that for another 2 years. We're going to kind of jump forward 3 years in and start going there. Gets forward whenever possible is a trait I'm going to add to him, and that's probably the last one. Then I'm going to take a few off because we've got that one from Mo, cuts inside from right wing. He's also got runs with ball down right. So this kid is going to be like a headless chicken. He's just got his head down and he's running and he doesn't know where. So Benny boy, we're going to jump forward 2 seasons to your 19th birthday to see how you developed. Let's go. In fact, we come back slightly earlier, literally 12th of August. Before this season kicks off, I did want to change these things in his personal training. I wanted to get rid of that one to put likes to beat opponent repeatedly. It's a really good trait that I've started to play with at the moment. In terms of going past players, it's very good for flair, technique, and this kid is okay at it, and we're going to work on his quickness as well. So these two will come hand in hand for the next 2 seasons, I hope. So 14 and 14, acceleration and pace. Let's jump forward 2 seasons to see how that changes. Well, bloody hell, 16 and 17. He is starting to turn into a bit of a world beater, this kid, to be fair. I'm leaving the quickness on because everything else is developing nicely. I'm trying to get rid of cuts inside from right wing. This is taking an age, but the last 2 years of Ben's career has gone lovely. Bear in mind he's 19. Look how good this kid is getting. Nothing's been tweaked in terms of his attributes up here. This is very much an honest appraisal of a kid playing football. 147 current ability, 180 still a way off getting to his potential. We might not get there in this save, to be fair. That is a variable amount. It might change if he gets injured, for example. But for the last 2 seasons, Ben has become the assist king of Liverpool. 16 assists and 8 goals, 25 assists in all competitions, 11 goals with a 7.10. The following season wasn't as good, but still rocked up with 17 assists and 3 goals. He's become an absolute baller, and he's still only 2.5 star. Bear in mind, that is in relation to Liverpool, which are a very good team. If he was in any other team, he'd be fantastic, to be fair. He's worth £80 million. His contract ends in a few years. I don't know if he's going to stay. I've got no control over that. I'd kind of like it if he did leave, just to see who he'd go to and how his develop goes without me as a manager. Tactically, he's still rocking it out here as a winger. We put him up to an attack role, still with that cross aim centre, just because it does work. And look, run wide with ball is part of his instructions. This is why we're desperately trying to get rid of cuts inside from right wing. This was the mentoring group where Mo Salah has messed it up entirely. We have changed things, as you can see. Of course, Ben Doak, he's still getting a significant effect from this group, and I've tweaked it because that has dropped sometimes to average and light in particular. Mo's still there, Trent is still there because they're together. Jude Bellingham, who Liverpool have bought, has got an average influence, so he's getting some kind of effect on him, but also big Virgil's come in as well with really good personalities. And Ben is just, he's lapping it up, to be fair. When you look at the Liverpool team, you can see who they've actually bought. Like I said, this is Director of Football challenge, so to speak, because I'm not doing transfers. Harry Kane up top. Jude Bellingham's come in. They've just got rid of a centre-back, so they need to bring somebody in for that. Yeah, it's stacked, to be fair. They've won the Premier League this season. They have, okay. And the season before that, let's have a look. And they won that one also. So fair play. The last 2 seasons, Championes. This tactic, by the way, is quite decent because we're flying through them. So the plan is now with good old Ben, we're going to go forward another 2 seasons and then we're going to jump forward right into the future to see how he does. So look at these stats, 16 and 17 pace. In terms of development, we're going to keep it on the quickness and winger attack because that's working really good for him. So let's go forward 2 years to see how he's looking. Yeah, Benny boy's doing all right here. Ardagula, who Liverpool have picked up, puts the ball in here. Lovely. Back to Robertson, and Ben Doak, who's injured, on the outside of his right foot, pings it in there. He's done okay this season, to be fair, and I'll show you how. At still the young age of 21, he's 3.5-star winger attack. Pace, physicals in general, are just getting crazy right now, and all the attributes you need for a winger are looking rosy, to be fair. He is becoming an absolute baller. Player traits, they're coming along nicely. We can't get rid of cuts inside from right wing. Honestly now, trying to get rid of player traits, it's either bugged in Football Manager or it's bloody impossible because it takes years. He's still got room to grow into. Let's take a look at his attributes to see where he's currently at. 161. He's still got 19 attribute points to go. And look how good he is. This kid is beyond. In terms of this season, it's been mighty disappointing. The season before, Ben does pick up the odd injury and misses a few games. So across the 25-26 campaign, 8 goals, 19 assists, still bossing it. And this season, 9 goals and 16 assists after playing just a couple less. Rocking just above a 7. Not playing brilliantly in the league, to be fair, but he has been in a very poor Liverpool team. Liverpool finished 13. I'm glad I've got that unsackable because they have been destroyed. And the season before, they finished 5th. So we're kind of seeing the demise of Liverpool. I don't know if I'm putting all my focus into young Ben and everyone else is becoming a bit terrible. Because if you look at the tactics, Ardagula's come in there. Trent is now the best centre midfielder that Liverpool have, which I don't think is going to go down well. And the nutter from Spurs is at the back. So, yeah, there could be some improvement indeed. And there's a 95-year-old Harry Kane up front who still hasn't won a trophy. Sorry, mate. But back to Benny boy. We've tweaked this a few more times again. So because his physicals are going so well, 17 pace, 18 pace, even 17 acceleration, agility through the roof. I've shifted this to passing now, simply because he's going to be in positions where I want him to get assists. Crossing he's fine for. Passing, technique and vision. I do love this additional focus because it covers 3 key areas. These are areas where he does need to develop, particularly passing, because he's in that final third and I want him to make that difference. I'm sure he's grown as well. He wasn't 6 foot to the start. By all means, rewind it to find what's going on. Rewind it. It's like a VHS. I'm showing my age now. Rewind this YouTube video and see how tall he was. But we're going to jump forward another 5 years to find out exactly how Ben is going to find his, I suppose, the pinnacle of his career and how well he's going to do. Let's go. Bloody hell. I'm not even joking. This kid is ridiculous. And he's moved clubs as well. So I think we're going to look at this 5-year progression, which is 10 years in the future. And then I'll show you another sort of bonus one after this. So stick around because, oh, what a player. Yeah, so I'm not at Liverpool anymore, which will indicate that Ben has left. Any votes for where he's gone? He's gone to Newcastle. Of course, he has big money in Newcastle, paid him £375,000 a week. He went there pretty much the season after we just left. He had a great start, to be fair. It must have been the January transfer window because he had 18 games, 7 goals, 5 assists, and then he went over to Newcastle and had an okay season. But since then, especially the last one, he's rocked up with 17 goals and 17 assists in all competitions. And arguably Newcastle have kind of pushed him along a bit. His stats are just beyond. Honest to God, look how good these are. Again, as that winger, but as an overall player now, he's become definitely one of the best players in the world, in my opinion. Let's have a look at his attribute analysis. He's maxed it out, 180. Thank God for that. I didn't think he was going to get it at Liverpool, I'll be honest. But we've gone away. We've simmed this 5 years. He's gone off to Newcastle and he's done this off his own back, which I love, to be fair. What a great player. Looking at Newcastle, he is their key player. They are second in the Premier League. I wonder how they've done the last few seasons, if he's picked up any trophies whatsoever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the season we left Liverpool on the 13th. After that, they finished in 6th. Newcastle were 4th. Newcastle 3rd. Liverpool are down in 9th. Oh, God. Newcastle still in 3rd. And Liverpool had a decent season in 5th. And we're getting closer now. Newcastle 4th. They still haven't won a league with all the money they've thrown at it. And just now, they finished 2nd, just by Man United. And Liverpool, Jesus, where are they? 5th. Okay, well, he's definitely made a move to the better team. And if we take a closer look again at Ben, let's not forget he's only 26. So as a bonus, right, I'm going to jump to 30 and I'm going to show you some of the individual awards Ben has won. And honestly, he just blows everything out of the water. Benny boy, Benny boy, Benny boy. 30 years old, he's still 6 foot, he's not grown, which is good. Still on crazy money a week, and tell me that's not the best winger in Football Manager. Like, honest to God, those stats are beyond. He's in a sprint past every player. He's got the crossing ability to nick it in there. Technique, off the ball, composure, the mentals are beyond. We've done this all above board. We haven't tweaked any of this. We've just let him sit there and develop to his maximum potential ability. This will ebb and flow in your save because he is on a variable. But if you've got the 180, and I think he even goes a little bit higher than that, to be fair, this is the player you're going to get. His history, the last couple of years in Newcastle, 16, this was the last year we just looked at it. He's rocking a really good average rating. And let's take a look at some of the awards he's picked up. So starting his time in Liverpool, he picked up European Golden Boy in 2024. That was kind of the first season in. Decent start there. Then he was inducted into the Scotland's Best 11 in 2025. It only took him 2 seasons to get there. Next Gen winner, amazing young player of the season. He's picked up a few trophies along the way. Championship, World Championship winners. FA Cup he's picked up. And as we move forward into 2027, he's won Under 21 Footballer of the Year, which is incredible. Then Newcastle pick him up, and he pushes on a bit. He still wins a few trophies, the FA Cup twice, the Community Shield twice. And then 2032 is when it's probably his best season. English Footballer of the Year, English Players Player of the Year. He wipes up. He doesn't win any trophies, but if you look, the last season, 2035, finally, Newcastle are Premier Division champions. Get in there. That's obviously the season just before. Let's go forward for confirmation. He's bossed it, to be fair. What a brilliant career this kid has had. Ben Doak, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know down below in the comments. Have you tried this kid out? Does he develop as well as this in your save? We're going to try and touch upon these Wonderkid videos to see if you like them. So again, comments below if this is the type of content you enjoy. Ben, I wanted to do in particular because, like I said in my save, he's an absolute baller. And let us know down below in the comments if there's any players that you think are fantastic Wonderkids that kind of go under the radar. Drop them down below. I want to do a few more videos of some other players. I got another one lined up after this who is just as good. But Benny boy, this is all about you. Go and check him out. Sign him if you can. I don't know how accessible he is at the start, but for that talent, he's worth a bit. If you enjoyed this, as always, check this video out next, and I'll catch you soon. Take care.